War does not always begin with armies. Sometimes it begins with fear. Spring 1915. The Ottoman Empire was fighting for survival on multiple fronts of World War I. To the west, the Allies pressed at Gallipoli. To the east, a far more complex and dangerous struggle was unfolding. In the mountains of the Caucasus, lines were collapsing, loyalties were breaking, and entire populations were being pushed toward catastrophe. This was not just a war between empires. It was a war within society itself. Welcome to Unseen Realities.
The disaster had already happened. In the winter of 1914-1915, Enver Pasha launched a bold offensive against Russia. It ended in catastrophe. The Battle of Sarikamish destroyed the Ottoman Third Army. Tens of thousands froze to death. Entire units vanished in the snow. What remained was barely an army. Now the Ottomans faced an impossible task, defending a front stretching over 600 kilometers with only 50,000 exhausted troops, and the enemy was already advancing.
The eastern provinces were home to a mix of Ottoman Turks, Kurdish tribes, and Armenian communities. As the war intensified, suspicion turned into violence. The Ottoman leadership feared rebellion. Armenians feared annihilation. And the arrival of Russian forces only made things worse. Because to some, the Russians were invaders. To others, they were the only hope of survival.
At the center of this story stood one man, Mohammad Mossadegh, a nationalist, a reformer, and a democratically elected prime minister. Mossadegh believed Iran should control its own destiny. And in 1951, he made a decision that shocked the world. He nationalized Iran's oil industry. No more foreign control, no more exploitation. For many Iranians, this was a moment of pride, a reclaiming of sovereignty. But for Britain, it was a direct threat.
In May 1915, the Russian Caucasus army moved. Led by Nikolai Yudenich, they advanced through the mountains with precision. Their objective? Break Ottoman control in the region. As they pushed forward, Ottoman resistance weakened. Supply lines collapsed, and one by one, key positions fell. Then came the turning point. Van. Russian forces entered the city, supported by Armenian defenders who had held out under immense pressure. For a moment, it seemed the balance had shifted completely.
But victory brought new problems. The region was collapsing into chaos. Mass displacement began. Civilians fled in every direction. Entire communities were uprooted. Supply systems broke down. And the battlefield became something far more dangerous than war. A humanitarian disaster.
The Ottomans were not finished. Determined to regain control, the High Command sent reinforcements. Leading them was Halil Pasha. In July 1915, he launched a massive counterattack. His forces struck hard, targeting the Russian flank near Mush. At first, the plan worked. Russian lines bent under pressure. Units began to withdraw. Ottoman troops pushed forward aggressively. For a brief moment, it looked like a full reversal.
But war rarely follows a straight line. As Ottoman forces advanced, they stretched themselves too thin. And Nikolai Yudenich saw the opportunity. He gathered reserves and prepared a decisive strike. At Kilise, Russian cavalry and infantry launched a coordinated attack. The Ottoman flank collapsed. What had been a victory turned into a retreat. The withdrawal was chaotic. Supplies were abandoned. Units became disorganized. Casualties mounted. By the end, thousands were dead. Thousands more captured. The front stabilized, but only barely. The siege of Van was more than a battle. It was a turning point, not just in military terms, but in human cost. The Caucasus front became a place of suffering, where war, politics, and identity collided, and where victory came at a price few could afford. The war was far from over, and the consequences of 1915 would echo for generations. If you want to understand how this conflict continued, make sure you subscribe. This is Unseen Realities.